Welcome to our new session about the project manager's skill set. Last session was rather short and easy. This session will be longer and more difficult. In this session, I will introduce to you the skills of the project manager. I will refer to hard skills and soft skills. In addition to those skills, I will also introduce you to some terms related to organizational strategy and business knowledge. Let's first have a look at the skill set of a project manager. Project managers have to know many skills. There are hard or technical skills and soft or people skills. But the project manager also has to understand organizational theory and the strategy of the organization that he or she is working for. Of course, project managers need business knowledge and many other skills. If possible, the more skills a project manager knows, the better he or she can perform and have successful projects. Hard and technical skills refer to planning, controlling, calculating, reporting, budgeting, and managing risks. On the other hand, soft skills or people skills relate to recruiting people, communicating with stakeholders, managing and leading the project and the people, leading the project, negotiating internally and externally. Organizational strategy is very important for a project manager. Projects are conducted to support the strategy of the organization or its divisions. The actions of the project managers should always take into account the strategy of the organization. This relates to project selection and evaluation. Decisions that are made during the execution of the project have to take into account the strategy, change requests the same, and if necessary, the project manager or the sponsor will have to kill the project if he doesn't support the strategy anymore. Business knowledge is also very important for a project manager to make the correct decisions. Projects are related to a business case, and in a business case we have financial parameters. For any project, a return on investment policy should be defined and should be respected at all times. Parameters that can be a part of the return on investment policy are the return on investment itself, the payback time, the present and future value, net present value, the internal rate of return, and the economic value add. Let's look a little bit closer to the financial parameters and the return on investment policy. A return on investment policy is in fact a combination of financial and other parameters that will help us identify the projects that are suitable to support our strategy. Later, the same parameters are used to monitor performance of the project. As a project manager, you have to understand what these parameters mean. It's not the goal of this course that you will calculate those parameters. Normally, you can do that when you finish a course in financial analysis. A good selection for a return on investment policy would be payback time, net present value, and the internal rate of return. The payback time calculates how much time it takes before your investment has been paid back. It doesn't take into account the time value of money, but it's an interesting parameter when the time frame is not too long. For example, you can say that the payback time has to be less than 3 years. Net present value is a very interesting parameter because it shows you the profit your project makes over its lifespan. You take all the cash flows that are generated after starting the project and you compare it with your initial investment. The net present value should be larger than zero. A last parameter is the internal rate of return. The internal rate of return is the yield of your project. Companies invest money, and when you have an investment, you want to be sure that your internal rate of return or the yield of your project is higher than your cost of capital. Combining these three parameters would be a very interesting return of investment policy that you can use for your project. Of course, each organization may be different, and in your organization, you may have different parameters which have been defined to select projects. This was not an easy chapter. It was a little bit longer than the previous sessions. Nevertheless, great job. Continue working on the project, continue working on the course, and see you next time.